Hello YouTube, Steamer Willie here, and we're into day, I have no idea how far we are into the COVID-19 lockdown at the moment, but I've got a bird's nest growing on my head because I can't get to a barber. But I was watching Chris Eden Green's channel yesterday, and he's done a video of his favourite sort of locomotives and that, so I thought, I'm going to do the same thing. If you're a train spotter or a railway enthusiast, you've probably been asked many times by people, oh, what's your favourite train? To which you've probably gone, boy. Because it's such a wide-ranging question. By that, do you mean your favourite locomotive or multiple unit? Do you mean your favourite service? So, yeah, it's a difficult question to answer, surprisingly. But I'm going to break it down. I'm going to start today talking about my favourite services and favourite locomotives and favourite multiple units. Favourite service? Got to be the Caledonian Sleeper. Now, I've been on it a couple of times when it was still Mark III and Mark II coaches. I haven't been on the new Mark V coaches yet, so I can't really judge those. But certainly when I was on it, especially with the Mark II lounge car, it's the most luxurious franchise train there is. It really is. It's such a lovely way to travel. I've not been on it up to the Highlands yet. I've only done Glasgow Central to Euston on it, but as a means of getting to London, it's just like you go in the lounge car, have a nice dram of whiskey, and then you go to bed in your cabin. Yeah, it's a bit small, but it's a train. What do you expect? And if you sleep, you wake up in London. I've had a couple of trips where it wasn't quite as pleasant. My first time with the Calais Sleeper, the coach I was in had a wheel flat, and I had 8 hours of ding 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 all the way to London. So that wasn't quite as pleasant. And then I did have a time. I travelled on it in the seated coach, which I cannot sleep sitting up. It's so that wasn't quite as good. But when I've been on it to go to London on holiday, and I get a sleeper berth, sit in the lounge car and have a glass of whiskey or a cup of hot chocolate, something like that. It's just been lovely. So fantastic. So, onto the rolling stock. Favourite EMU, electrical multiple unit. It's the sort of PEP derived units, which is classes 313, 314, 315, 507 and 508. Certainly the 314s, I've got lots of footage of in and around Glasgow, going back years. 507s and 508s, I've travelled on in Liverpool way back when I was at university, but I didn't have a video camera back then, so I've no footage or photographs of those. But they're basically the same train, only the Merseyside units have DC third rail power and the 314s are AC overhead electric. But it's essentially the same train. They just look, they're started building in 79, so they're 40 odd years old now, and they still look, brand new almost. Very modern looking. I love the design on them. They look almost like a blown up tube unit, with that kind of end door, which was sort of designed for working tunnels. So obviously in the Merseyrail in the tunnel, Birkenhead tunnels on the Argyle line in Strathclyde, in the I think it's Moorgate tunnel, the original 313s was designed for. So it's got a kind of a little bit sort of a cyberpunk aesthetic to them that I quite like. And just inside, they're bright and airy, low back seats, plenty of space to stretch your legs if they're not too crowded. The one thing with the 314s being 3-car units in community service may not be as spacious as a 4-car class 213 or 315, but they, there's plenty of space to stand up if all the seats are taken. The downside is 3+2 seating. The seats are quite narrow, so when you start bunching up, there's that downside, but altogether love them. Yeah. DMUs. I'm not a fan of diesel multiple units as a species because they tend to be quite noisy and uncomfortable, but my favourites are the Class 170 Turbo Stars. Starting on its own. I thought it was going to go as a 6-car unit, but it's left the other one there. They are probably the quietest, most comfortable DMUs out there. I would actually prefer a Turbo Star to a Class 220 Voyager. The Voyagers it's all airline seats, and there's not much in the way of space, but the Turbo Stars, there's a lot more bays of 4. The seats are quite comfortable. I've been on I like 158s, they're good looking units, but I've been on long journeys with them before and had a sore back after a while, so yeah, in terms of comfort, 170s definitely edge it for me. They're cozy. The interior design, especially the ScotRail units, the well upholstered, they're just comfortable places to be, so yeah. Electric loco, Class 87. It's so hard to choose because the first sort of generation of AC electrics on BR was pretty much classes 81 to 85 were practically identical. Then you've got 86 and 87. There's not much difference between all of them, but the 87 with the 2 windscreens instead of 3 is quite distinctive, and I've had a few of them for haulage on the West Coast Main Line before the Pendolinos came in. They look good. I just love the look of classic electric locos. So that's basically classes 81 to 87. They've got this kind of continental look to them. Certainly was it Class 85? I think one of the early ones. There was a variant that was built for export to Poland, and they're still running over in Poland. And actually, some of the British locos, the 87s, have been sent to, I think it's Bulgaria, to work over there. So good engines. Love them. I'm going to have a sort of honorary mention to the Class 91, the Intercity 225 here. One of my earlier favourite trains from when I was at school. These came in about 1990 with the electrification of the East Coast Main Line, and back then it was Intercity 225. Wow, amazing, electric train, and this was the future back then, and I still love them. But the earlier ones have kind of grown on me since then. I wasn't really back in 1990. I wasn't really aware of the earlier electric classes so much, but since going to uni and travelling on the West Coast Main Line frequently before the Pendolinos came in, the 87s have kind of grown on me. So that brings us to diesel locos. This is a hard one because there are so many that I love, but the absolute top probably has to be the Class 37.
Working very nicely.
They look amazing, they sound amazing. My favourite, I love them in the original EWS red and gold livery. They've got just a slight American look to them, but they're such a distinctive class. You see them everywhere. They're quite ubiquitous, but I just love that look with the sort of hood at the front there. You know, comparatively, Class 47s are kind of boring. Just my opinion, but 37s just stand out. Yeah. And that brings us to steam locos. Probably going to get a bit of flack for this, but my favourite's the A3. It just looks perfect. And especially with the corridor tender, you know, kind of a precursor to the Intercity 125 in that respect, which the A4 had that as well. And to be honest, I love all the LNER locos, A1, 2, 3, 4, B1s, B12s, K4s. You know, especially the Gresley designs. You know, Gresley was just designed some beautiful engines that, you know, if you asked a 10-year-old to draw a steam engine, that's probably what you get. And the A3, obviously famous as Gordon, the big blue engine from you know, Audrey's Railway series. So yeah, A3, it's a classic. I know people say, you know, I'm 4472 Flying Scotsman in particular. Oh, it's Trigger's broom. It's, you know, it's boring because it's the one everyone knows. But at the same time, everyone knows it because it is a classic. It is just the best express passenger loco as far as I'm concerned. Gonna do a couple of extra favourites on the steam engine as well, because A3 express passenger, but there's also industrial engines to consider. I've got a particular favourite, which is the Weems Private Railway Andrew Barclay 060s, two of which are preserved, unfortunately not running. That's number 17 Bray Reich up at the Strathspey Railway, and number 20 at the Bowness and Kinneil Railway. Both are in varying stages of restoration at the moment, so they're not running, and I don't have any video footage of them. But these were the sort of chunkiest, most powerful engines ever designed and built by Andrew Barclay. Certainly the biggest industrials they designed. So I want to see one in action. So yeah, can't wait for the two to get restored and back in service, because I really want to see one of these things in real life. The good looking engines, they are almost like Thomas the Tank Engine, and please Bowness, do not paint up paint up number 20 as Thomas, but yeah, probably it's the classic 060 side tank. It, you know, and again, I'll probably get trolled for saying this, but Thomas the Tank Engine, the big influence there. Narrow gauge engines. Now, everything I've mentioned so far has been standard gauge, but I'm a big fan of narrow gauge railways, and my absolute favourite is the Small England class on the Festiniog Railway. And third in a row, it's It's another one inspired by Thomas the Tank Engine, because of course Duke the Lost Engine was a George England 040, and you know what I mean. It's cute. It's a quaint little thing. Designed to be very small, very tight loading gauge, very low centre of gravity, and they're lovely little engines. I like them. And again, it's one I haven't had the pleasure of riding behind. I have visited the Festiniog, where I was all the haulage I got was behind double fairleys, and the only England I saw was in the bar. So I'd really like to go back there and get some haulage behind, Prince, Princess, Palmerston, Westbury, when the restoration's finished. Any of them, they're just lovely little things. So that's it. My favourite trains, or my favourite locomotives. I think next week I might do my favourite routes. That's again another video I might make. Again, we're still on COVID-19 lockdown. I can't get out and film any trains or anything else, so might as well sit down and have a chat. Okay, well, I'll see you next time then. That's the end of the video.